Hello everyone. Today our group will having a debate about some ethical issues that happened in India during the COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Lee Kahian as moderator and also having our five participants, which were Samira, Bidusian, Stewart, Tanarechumi, and Aisha. Now let's begin with first ethical issue, which is the decision made by the government of India to declare India win against COVID-19, although there was uncertainty of the real situation. The debate is about should India government misrepresentation status of the pandemic for political gain. Participants, you can start your debate.
First of all, I agree with the decision made by the Government of India to declare victory against COVID-19. This is because governments often face the dilemma of balancing transparency with the need to maintain public morale, especially during crisis. By declaring victory, the Indian government may have aimed to instill hope and confidence among the citizens, fostering a sense of unity and optimism.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Stuart.
For me, I also agree with Stewart's point. Maintaining public morale is indeed important.
I disagree with your points. I think the decision made by the India government does come with several ethical implications. The primary ethical concern is the direct impact on public health. Misleading citizens about the severity of the pandemic can result in a lack of adherence to safety measures, leading to increased transmission of the virus. This, in turn, can cause illness, strain healthcare systems, and result in loss of lives.
Exactly right, Shimira. The government definitely should not be spreading misinformation to their citizens.
In conclusion, majority of us agree that India government should misrepresent status of the pandemic for political gain. The next issue is the Indian citizen decisions and religious groups to push for ease of the rule of lockdown to allow them to return to work and hold festivals to honor their religion. The debate is about should India government balance economic needs and religious freedom against public health safety. Participants, you can start your debate.
In my opinion, the Indian citizen decision and religious groups should not push for ease of the rule of lockdown to allow them to return to work and hold festivals to honor their religion. This is because of public health risks in workplace and also festivals. Critics argue that unnecessarily relaxing lockdown restrictions could result in a COVID-19 case reactivation, risking the public's health. Religious holidays may see large crowds turn into super spreader events that overwhelm the healthcare system.
I totally agree with your point, Tana.
Sorry to interrupt, but I agree with the Indian citizen decisions that religious group that push for is to allow them return to work and hold festivals to honor their religion because of considering the mental health. Lockdowns lasting a long time can be harmful to mental health. Allowing individuals to participate in religious and cultural events, including celebrations, might encourage a feeling of solidarity and reduce tension and fear.
I agree with you, Shamira, that the Indian government should consider about public mental health.
For me, I also agree with Shamira's point.
After the debate, majority of us agree that India government should balance economic needs and religious freedom against public health safety. The following issue is the decision by government of India to ban export of vaccines to other countries when there is shortage of vaccines for local usage. The debate is about should India government prioritize local needs over global cooperation during a global health crisis. Participants, you can start your debate.
Well, I personally agree with this point because the decision taken by the government of India to restrict the export of vaccines during times of domestic shortages is a prudent and responsible move. It is imperative for any sovereign nation to prioritize the health and well-being of its own citizens. However, when faced with a surge in COVID-19 cases domestically, it is only sensible to prioritize the needs of our own population. The government's primary responsibility is to protect its citizens and in the face of a health crisis. Redirecting vaccines to the local populace become an ethical imperative.
Yes, Shamira. As for me, I completely agree with your point that the decision taken by government of India to restrict the export of vaccine is a prudent and responsible move.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just have to disagree with both of your points, Shamira and Aisha, because while recognizing the importance of prioritizing local needs, it is crucial to scrutinize the implication of India's decision to halt vaccine export. India, as a major vaccine manufacturer, has played a pivotal role in global vaccination efforts.
Yes, Tana, you are right. Since it's relevant and I really agree with you, let's acknowledge that pandemics, by nature, are not confined by orders. The decision to restrict export risks undermining global solidarity and cooperation, especially at a time when collaborative efforts are essential to overcoming the challenges posed by COVID-19.
Yes, I completely agree with both of your points, Tana and Lee.
Okay, the conclusion is that majority of us think that Indian government should not prioritize local needs over global cooperation during a global health crisis. Next, the issue is the decision by vaccine manufacturers to breach the contract that they have entered into as instructed by Government of India. The questions of debate is moral responsibility versus public health. Participants, you can start your debate.
For me, I totally disagree. In my opinion, the decision by vaccine manufacturers to breach their contract could be seen as a violation of legal agreements. The contracts are binding agreements, and the breaching them will, without valid reason can lead to legal consequence.
I disagree with Lee's points. I think that if effective contained to devastating second wave of COVID-19 hitting India, limited productions mean that a decision had to be made between prioritizing domestic need versus export. So the healthcare system was swept during the second wave and a dire lack of vaccine and medical resources.
Yes, I too agree with Lee and Aisha.
For me, I disagree with this point, because the government's directive to ban vaccine exports and the subsequent breach of contracts could strain international relations and impact diplomatic ties. I think the decision to stop exporting vaccines had an impact on international contracts, but at the same time, it also sets off a series of events that results in export limitations from the EU and the US.
I agree with Stewart's point.
After the discussion, majority of us think that public health is more important than moral responsibility. The fifth issue is the decision made by other countries to ban the export of raw material to produce vaccines to India in redirection of the activities by Indian vaccines manufacturers. The debate is about ethical implications of using trade as leverage during a crisis. Participants, you can start your debate.
Yes, in times of crisis, safeguarding our nation's interests is imperative. Employing trade as leverage is a pragmatic approach to protect our resources, ensuring we aren't taken advantage of by other nations.
Absolutely, securing our resources is crucial to our stability and resilience during uncertain times. Leveraging trade ensures that we have access to necessary supplies and are not left vulnerable.
I agree. Our primary responsibility is towards our nation's well-being. Using trade as leverage allows us to maintain our autonomy and secure essential resources required to manage the crisis effectively.
However, using trade as a leverage risks damaging diplomatic ties and global cooperations. Ethically, we should prioritize collaborations and mutual support to tackle crises collectively rather than resorting to actions that strain international relationships.
I agree with Aisha's point, and I understand the need to protect our resources, but employing trade as leverage can escalate conflicts. Ethically, it's essential to find solutions that balance our national interests without compromising global solidarity and cooperation.
After the debate, majority of us think that we should use trade as leverage during a crisis. The last issue is if the same situation happens in Malaysia, what will be the ethical way to handle the situation? The debate is about should Malaysia government balance national needs with global responsibilities. Participants, you can start your debate.
Thank you for the questions. For surely there will be ways to handle this kind of situations. First ethical step that could be taken is to make vaccine export decision carefully, considering domestic need first. This means that the government and the healthy authorities should ensure that they have enough vaccine to cover their own populations, especially the high-risk group, such as elderly, frontline worker, and to those have immune system weakening.
Personally, I agree with that.
Sorry, but I'm not agree with the vaccine export issue because although taking care of the health of national is important, it should not be continued until it affects international cooperation and unity.
Yes, same goes to me. We need to know that supporting vaccine production and export can have positive economic implications, as it can create jobs and income in the vaccine manufacturing sector.
Actually, I agree with Aisha. Technically, as we all know, that the primary duty of any government is to protect its citizens, especially during a public health crisis like the COVID-19 outbreak, because the country itself cannot guarantee the safety of its citizens by only relying on the global community, and it is wise to obtain its own vaccine supply first. So, by investing in domestic production and prioritizing domestic needs, a country can reduce dependence on external resources and better control its vaccine supply chain.
After the discussion, majority of us think that Malaysia government should take care more about balanced national needs than global responsibilities. In summary, for question A, the majority disagree with the notion that the Indian government should misrepresent the pandemic status for political gain. For question B, the consensus after the debate is that the Indian government should balance economic needs and religious freedom while ensuring public health safety. For question C, the majority believes that during a global health crisis, the Indian government should not prioritize local needs over global cooperation. For question D, the discussion reveals that the majority places greater importance on public health over moral responsibility. For question E, the prevailing view after the debate is that using trade as leverage during a crisis is considered a viable approach by the majority. For question F, the majority opinions post-discussion favors the Malaysian government prioritizing the balance of national needs over global responsibilities. That's all for us. Thank you.